The truth.
Alright. Hey y'all, how are you doing? I am finally here making another video. I'm so grateful to be just in my studio on wheels. As you can see, I'm always in my car. And nothing unusual there. Don't have anywhere to record. So this is my little office, and anyways, I feel like it is a good spot to make a video today because I have a lot I want to say with this, and there's so much in this realm of life that is so deprived from this discussion, from the topic. It's not talked about enough. It's not brought up enough. Like, spirituality is so a mysterious thing that like seems to be that some people have it and some people don't. Like, it's either you're spiritual, you're a little bit, or you're not at all. You can fall anywhere on the spectrum, but it seems to be one end or the other, one extreme or the other. I feel like that is the God-sized hole in our heart that we don't even realize is there. And so as human beings, we need to realize that we're more than meets the eye. We're more than flesh and blood. We are. And I think a lot of people are starting to like realize this truth. And whether or not you're Christian or Hindu or Buddhist, that is ultimately up to you, and it's entirely up to your choice and what you want to do. And so, but I am so excited to start this YouTube ministry, really shedding a fresh new paradigm, a new light on how I have perceived Christianity and how it is just drastically different than what I thought it was out in the world. Looking at what the world's throwing at me, it's just, wow, it could not be further from the truth. And so I just cannot wait to share this with you guys soon. And I just wanted to make a little introductory video here because I know I've been talking about it for so long. All of the details of like what I've gone through and all of the experiences I've had, I will detail the best I can in the next video. This video, I wanted to just have it to be as a precursor to talk to you guys about like spirituality in general and what you think of it. What I feel is happening when we have mental illness is I believe that we hover along life on the surface. We look at what others tell us, the shallow, consumeristic, materialistic vanity of the world that really just drives us on this path, this tunnel vision of, I need to be in this box, I need to reach this, I need to have this thing, I need to look like this, I need to lose this much weight, I need to have this much money, I need to have this kind of job, I need to have this kind of friends. Can you kind of get the point? Is that is detrimental to our soul, you know? Like earth, the sun, the moon, the creation of God, birds, anything, the water, all of that seems to be missed by us when we are running around in this consumeristic society, in this very deeply rooted, image-based, like, way of having wealth. And so it's just, what I find is that it's so easy for us to be totally disconnected from our soul and our spirit and our heart. And remember, in the videos I've made in the past, I have said that in our heart, we need to think from our heart. We need to connect with the depths of our soul, going through OCD, going through any mental illness, essentially, especially when we are losing ourself, we're losing our trust. Oh, hold on. Bye. Rude. Just kidding. So I find that we live in a very spiritually deprived and blinded world that simply doesn't believe in more than us. Like we kind of stop at the idea, that there is more than us. We're like, most people are like, you know, very agnostic or whatever, you know, and that's just okay. But I think we've come to a point in our life when we're like, I think everywhere in our bones and our heart, somewhere says that that's wrong. Somewhere says that, you know, there is an inner energy that I have that I feel like is not being nurtured, is not being cared for. What's in my heart, the beauty that is within us all, that is truly locked within us deep down from God who knew us before we were born, and I truly know that. And but those things can get lost being disconnected from all of that for so many years, and we continuously go along this broken path, and leads to more brokenness. Some good things, maybe a lot of good things, but we find that even those good things, like houses and money and just tons of notoriety and popularity and tons of all of what the world says is wealth, all of what the world says is goodness, and is here you go, you made it, boom, boom, white picket fence, boom, travel the world. But then why is it that so many people are still depressed? Why is it that so many people still suffer, and suicide is so high? There is just so much emptiness in us. There is an unbelievable and undeniable void within us all, deep in our hearts, eroding away at our outer shell that appears good, right? It appears so good. It appears solid and taken care of. But when we're making that outer shell look so good and polished for so long, our inner part, our inner soul, our deeply rooted truth, and the eternity in our hearts is being neglected. It is rotting, it is rusting, and it eventually will reach a point where it addresses itself without, like, our consciousness being ready and our mind being ready. And so I believe that is what happens, in an obscure way, give or take some things, that when we come down with these illnesses, it is a call to expand our horizon, throw our net harder, consider a different realm of life, consider a higher power, that we're not the ultimate judge, and we're not the ultimate being ever created. Like, we're not of mindless matter. And so, maybe your spirituality says that. Maybe there are spiritualities around mindless matter, around new age things, but I can tell you that right now that that's not what I'll be talking about. And that is not the truth. And so maybe it is yours, and I respect that. I very much do. But I want to give everybody a new perspective on a more traditional viewpoint. And we're not talking about religion. We're talking about a relationship here, and a relationship with Jesus Christ, and not some mysterious force out in the universe, a person, a story, a real being, a real deity, a real love the world has never known and still is not fully aware of it. And I am determined in my whole heart to do this now. I feel as though that everything that I can do is not even close to what God can do. I know that all of what I've been able to do through this channel is through His glory, through His gift to me. And I know that I must turn and be very clear about this now, is that I would not have gotten over my OCD without God. I would have not ever gotten over or reached the points of wisdom. Like, I don't create my own wisdom. Wisdom is granted by grace, and grace is called receiving that is not due, that is not deserved by the recipient. Grace is a overly gracious gift of any sort that is not deserved by the one. Mercy is also defined as a withholding and a cancellation of a due punishment. And so you know what? We're going to go through all of these things with grace and mercy, and we're going to humble ourselves and look deeper at who we are and who our Creator was. Whatever, you can disagree with me all you want, and that's totally fine. But this is the direction I'm going, and I will not back down. I will continue to push forward in Christ forever. And so that is the truth. For me, at least. I think a lot of misconceptions people have about spirituality and about God is that it's not fun. I have to be something that I'm not. I have to be perfect. I have to be extremely disciplined, and I have to reject everything and be completely like out of my wits about things, and just be like, I don't know. I think people have a very irrational and misunderstanding around Christianity for very deep reasons, which I will eventually touch on. And I think spirituality in general, like meditation, even mindfulness, people don't really get it. And so those things are what I believe is the key factor, like I said, to really overcoming the world, overcoming everything that is said to us in this, all of these horrible things, all of the demands and the pressure of life, like we will pop. We will, without a spirit, without a higher power, and without that deep, otherworldly love that is not of the world, that is not within the realm of what human beings have created. No. We will come to a point when we can go no further ignoring that. And we will come to a point where we are lost. And we have done what we can with our secular and physical being, with our secular life. There is a point when I think all of us realize, what's happening to me? Why do I feel this way? Why am I going through this? I've had such a good point in my life. I've had so many good things going on, or I know I haven't had that many issues and I thought I overcame them, or vice versa. And we realize, like, I don't feel like myself anymore. I don't trust myself anymore. What is going on? Like, my mind is crying and it's upset. Like, what have I done wrong? Well, I think the answer is that we're only half of ourselves when we have no faith in anything. We're only half of ourselves. And so that's the thing, is that God, spirituality, I believe that is the road to being your true self and equipping yourself with not only divine protection and love and salvation, but truly to blossom in your creativity, in your effectiveness in life, productivity, your little small moments of peace and comfort, all of that. We aren't really truly who we are until we are 100% within the spirit and within our body. And so I think that is absolutely the number one most dire, urgent thing in the world, all of us, is on the line. Humanity is on the line if we continue to reject our spirit and our soul and our need for light, our need for truth, because darkness lives in this world, and it is very, very clear every day. Just turn on the news, just look at people's eyes, look at people's faces in the store when you go out in public. Something isn't right. This was not the way it was supposed to be. Like, I have to turn off the news every night because I'm disturbed. I'm disturbed at what I see, and it's normal. It's normal to hear these things. It should never be uttered. Hear no evil, see no evil. But as for me, in my house, I serve the Lord, and I will fear no evil, even if I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, because the Lord's rod and his staff comfort me, and I will put on the armor of God. And that is what I want to preach about. That I have to share that with you guys. And so, kind of drawing back from that, when it comes to OCD, particularly pure OCD, and these thoughts and these awarenesses, and how our mind can get broken into these patterns, and our nervous system can break, and we have all these egotistic thoughts. And well, I think that, and no one, I'm not saying that it's a spirit, it's an evil spirit in us that's, coming out, and we're spiritually, like, deprived and broken, and we're subjected, and, like, I'm not saying that could never happen, but what I'm saying more is that because of all of the lack of any awareness of within, even inner self-awareness, inner reflection, and mindfulness, which is a fancy word for awareness, that's all that means. I'm not talking about Hindu or Buddhist mindfulness. I'm talking about more of a Western, new mindfulness term that's come around. And so without any of that, which is very normal, the world does not teach us these things. People don't even realize that we need this. They just are so resistant, so hardened to these things, that we end up being so caught off guard with the need for these things. When it comes to that point, like I said, we start to experience these things and we have no idea what's going on. We have no help. We have no striking truth in us that we can put our trust in and rest on a higher source. Christ says that he will shoulder our weakness, and we can count that as joy. We can count that as strength and boast in that, because I can tell you right now that Jesus Christ is the one that healed me from OCD and gave me the wisdom to in a compelling way that I'm still processing to this day. I'm nowhere near done, never will be. And so And now I feel as though it's time to give this to you. It's time to share this in a more clear way. And so without that, though, without him, and without any step forward that I took to come to a point of humility and just to see what's up, I would have never been woken up. I would have never had my testimony. I would have never been able to help you. And so I rejoice in that. And so what I want to say is that, there is a link between deception in the world and the deception we experience in this illness. There is a link between ego-dystonic thoughts and the depravity of our soul, our heart, and our mind. There is a link between those two. It doesn't make it any different what the ego-dystonic thoughts mean. They're essentially still 100% opposite of our ego. But the fact that we fall into this state and our fight or flight response breaks, I say that it's more than just a predisposition. Yes, we're predisposed, but sometimes I think that there's another dynamic involved, especially with this disorder, because what I believe is that there is a call to wake up and to take as many steps back as you feel you need to, and to look and say, what am I? What is going on? Who am I now? What can help me? And so when we go through years and years and years of putting this off, we come to this point, like I said, we come to the point where we can no longer ignore it. And I think that when there is no knowledge or talk or anything about spirituality still, in the midst of all of this, it can lead to a much harder time of recovery. It can lead to a slower pace. It can lead to even worse condition, I think, to have no faith in anything, no light in your life. And so that is what I want to start to talk about, is how we can think differently about this disorder in a spiritual sense, and how I do believe it is a call to God, is a call to wake up to your inner being, and to say and to see and to look and to be like, you know what? These are not real in me. These thoughts, these emotions, these feelings, these images, these awarenesses, they are not my own. And even if they are, I can fix it now. And I can fix it in a physical and a spiritual way. And I believe that is I think that is the cap, that push, to push you just a little bit farther, to push you across the finish line and stay there, to stay on the other side on amazing health and full healing and full remission, to the point of helping others. I believe that the missing link is God, and I believe that it is truly in like the depths of our soul. And so no longer, we're in a dark night of our soul. We're in a dark night of the soul when we're going through this illness. And so it is time to find the daylight of our soul, the daytime, the love, the light, the truth that I have been trying to preach to you guys, that I have been saying, and is 100% true, that each and every one of us is beautiful, is good inherently. And yeah, we are also broken inherently though. And the world and its evil, I believe, tries to apply and to plaster itself on us, and to influence us negatively, and to bring us down. It is war. It is seriously war. And so I'm not saying that the OCD and the spiritual or the thoughts we have are like, oh no, there's something. Like I said, that is part of the trick. And so all of what I said before is 100% still valid, but this is adding to it. It's adding to the truth that these ego-dystonic thoughts are a lie. These urges, these awarenesses are harmless. But when we feel as though they're threatening, and when we're confused, and it's so persistent, I believe that there is a spiritual need there. I believe that there is a spiritual answer, as well as a physical and scientific therapy, ERP, medication, all of that, it's very run-of-the-mill. And so now I want us to think outside the box a little more. That stuff is powerful, it works, and I'll not stop talking about that. But I want to, like I said, combine and add to what I have already spoken about, and to really give it the charge of the electricity, of the spirit, of the energy that I have been feeling in me for 2 years now, and I am ready to let you guys know what's going on. And I will be making an official video soon, sharing, why I'm doing this, and my testimony, and when I woke up to Jesus, and who he is really, And so I don't know everything. Who am I? I feel so small compared to all of this. And so I really am just a guy, and I'm not perfect. I don't know all the facts. I don't know all scripture. I need to be corrected. I need to be helped. And so we're all in this together, finding truth. We're all in this together, seeking even the true path to a better reality, to heaven, I believe, and on that narrow path. And it's extremely difficult. This is not a joke. This is truly wartime. It's not time to be like, yeah, spiritual. I'm so spiritual, and I go to church on Sundays, and that's it. That's like good, but that's a part of it. But there is so much more. It is an ocean of love and relationship and power that is all for the glory of God. And I cannot wait to do that for Him, and especially for you guys, because it is so needed. I can see it. I can feel it. And so let me know what is your spiritual experiences. Do you have any faith? You know any of anything? No judgment at all. Judge not. And that's something that Christians do very poorly, unfortunately. But I'll let you guys know about all the experiences I've had, and it's just so much better than I thought it ever would be. So let me know in the comments below what your spiritual belief is. What do you believe? What do you think about this? And just let me know what you'd want to know about God, and what you want to know about Jesus, what you want to know about faith or my experience so far. I would love so much to tell you, and so I will. And I will get back to everybody's comments as soon as I can. I'm trying my best to get to each and every one. I'm not forgetting any of them. I might take a couple months, but it's better than nothing. So hopefully like a week, not that long. But anyways, I love you all. God bless you. And remember that there is a far, far, far better reality and love, and just so much life to live, so much more than earth, so much more than our physical bodies. I'm so ready just to share everything that I have felt, everything that has come to my mind and my heart, in a way that will really help you with this disorder and beyond. Bye, guys. Okay, really quick, I have to add this in. I'm at a red light. This is about breathing awareness, and this was something I wrote in my notes when I was going through a really bad day of breathing awareness and OCD, controlling my breathing at work, and just feeling like totally, like everything that I had thought, was working, which it does work 100%, but some moments it's just stubborn. Some moments it's very difficult to perform the ERP and to just allow it to be there. It just gets very annoying sometimes, and you know what I mean? It can be like exhausting. And so I've had it. I had it that moment, and I wrote this because what I think a lot of us can understand is that we feel whole in some moments, and then all of a sudden we don't feel whole anymore. It's like, I'm not broken though. I know I'm not broken. So why is it that I'm not trusting something right now? Like, what's going on in my subconscious? And so our subconscious is very stubborn, is very hard to change, and likes to ignore things. Oh no, I'm gonna be driving. Okay, hold on. Okay, I'm not driving anymore. It's always dark out, I swear. But not really. Okay, so this is what I wrote, quick, and I like to read this when I am losing my, sharpness around the steps and the things I need to do and how to respond when the breathing starts to become annoying and I start to become aware and can get flustered. And this is something that we all do. And so it's normal to need a little bit of an extra, oomph, a little extra push. And so and you can say these things to yourself and to reread this and to declare your wholeness over yourself. Declare it and believe it. And so just make sure to be careful to not do it every single time and turn it into a ritual. It's okay to have activities, but it doesn't mean that, any response is a ritual. Sometimes we do need to be reminded of the truth. Sometimes we do need a mantra, a powerful reminder that isn't different than a ritual. You know, we don't want that at all. And so I will read to you what I wrote as mine for particularly breathing, but this can be like anything. Accept that your body can and will breathe, or whatever it is, 100% on its own, in its own way, in its own rhythm, graciously working and supplying your body with oxygen, or your eyes with moisture, your throat with moisture, or whatever it is that is, you know, causing us distress. And what does that function do? What is the goodness surrounding that function? Why is it good? And so it's 100% normal to just completely forget about all that because the awareness is so unpleasant. Be grateful and joyful over each and every breath you take. Leave your diaphragm alone. Leave your chest alone. Leave your mouth and throat alone. They got it. They got you. You are you. You got you. You need to understand that you are not in bondage. The only bondage is the bondage of believing you are in bondage to something. Break free. I say it again. You need to understand that you are not in bondage. The only bondage you're in is the bondage of believing that you are in bondage to something that is not true. Break free.